Mac and cheese. It's probably one of, if not the most, recognisable comfort foods in the world. It's a classic. You can't go wrong with a good mac and cheese. Everybody loves mac and cheese. Literally everybody. Is that flipping car alarm going off? Shut up! Now I've already got a mac and cheese recipe up on the channel, and I happen to think I make a decent mac and cheese. But I came across this recipe a few weeks ago now, probably maybe 3-4 weeks ago, and I haven't been able to get it out of my mind since. It's not one of my recipes. It was actually created by a guy called J.Kenji Lopez-alt, a renowned chef in the States. Great guy. I'll put a link to his channel, you can go and check him out. Not that he needs any help, he's got like 500,000 subscribers, but in the interests of fairness and credit where it's due, I'll link to his channel. And this mac and cheese goes completely against the way I've been used to doing it, because the way I do it, well, a lot of people do it, is you'll make a bechamel sauce, add the cheese, add the cooked pasta, mix it up, bake it in the oven, etc, etc. This way is done all on the top of the stove, and it only uses 3 ingredients. Now before anyone starts in the comments, like they did with my 2-ingredient bread, oh, but you're using salt and you're using chives and 2 different kinds of cheese, that's not 3 ingredients. Just chill out. Okay, you don't have to use 2 cheeses, you don't have to use chives, pretty sure everybody's got salt. So it's 3 main ingredients: cheese, pasta, evaporated milk. Alright, stick that up your trumpet. Now Kenji Lopez-alt's recipe calls for elbow macaroni, which is that kind of U-shaped sort of macaroni. I couldn't get any of that, I've just got this standard macaroni here, which is kind of less elbow shaped, more semi-flaccid penis if you ask me, but that's what we've got. Now before we crack on with it, if you're new to this video, please hit that subscribe button, and when you do, make sure you click the little bell icon, allow all notifications, that way when I upload a new video, you get notified. Now as always, all the ingredients will be below in the description, just click show more, you'll see all the ingredients that you need. Now if you get your face down here, this story starts with a load of cheese. Okay, so our cheeses then. Got my chives here, got our evaporated milk, get that out of the way. Now I'm using 2 different sorts. I'm using Gouda and I'm also using some red Leicester. I'm using red Leicester because I want that nice sort of orangey hue to the finished mac and cheese, and Gouda because it's a lovely melting delicious cheese. Now the recipe calls for 170 grams of cheese, so I'm just going to use half Gouda, half red Leicester. Now this isn't like posh red Leicester, you know, I'm not going to use like the really expensive stuff because it's just no point. So all I'm going to do is just grate up these cheeses and then we'll move on to the next step. Right, so I've grated up my cheeses here. You can see I've got a nice mix. And what I'm also going to do is just chop up the chives. Now this isn't technically in the recipe, but one of the main reasons I'm going to add chives is for colour, because for those of you who do like food photography or filming, if you've got a YouTube channel yourself, you'll know how difficult it is to photograph and film beige food. It just doesn't stand out. So just adding a few flecks of green from the chives, it's just going to help improve the picture and make it look a bit more appetizing. It's going to add a nice flavour as well. A few chives in there. Now the recipe also calls for evaporated milk. This is the key ingredient. This is what emulsifies the mac and cheese together, because apparently what this does is it stops the fats in the cheese from splitting, so you don't end up with like a gloopy oily mess. Let's open this up. And we need 180 ml. Let's just kind of measure that out. And apart from a bit of salt, bit of water, that's all the ingredients that we need for this mac and cheese. So let's get cooking. I can't wait for this because I'm starving. Right, okay, let's get this show on the road. So I'm going to first add my semi-flaccid penis macaroni to the pan. In we go. And then it says to add just enough water to cover the pasta, like literally just covering it. So I think that's enough. Then it says to add a pinch of salt, and then it says to bring that to a rapid boil. So I'm going to get this onto the heat, and it says to continuously stir the pasta, cook it for about 6 minutes until it's just shy of al dente and most of the water has been absorbed by the pasta. Okay, so it's been about 6 minutes. That water has almost evaporated. So then it says to add the evaporated milk, and then it says to bring the evaporated milk to a boil, and then we add the cheese. It's doing okay so far. So about 3 years ago, I had a macaroni cheese recipe on the channel, and I had a comment from a subscriber back then. She said she really liked the video, and she said she'd given me a shout out in one of her videos. I thought that's really sweet, it's really kind. You know, People don't have to do that, it's really nice. So I went and watched the video, and she was lovely, don't get me wrong, lovely person. But it's one of those ASMR channels, wasn't it? Oh, and they make me feel so awkward. I get it, right? People have got their jam. They like what they like. But I just don't get ASMR. I don't understand it. It's a brain orgasm, isn't it, of sorts? And there she was, just sort of eating these teriyaki noodles. And you could just hear everything. Like, it's just like, I appreciate it, thank you, honestly. Really nice of you. But I just had to click off. I couldn't handle it. Just like, you can hear every mouthful. Not for me, guys. It's not for me. No. Okay, so that's now starting to boil. So we can start adding the cheese. A few handfuls at a time. And it just says to add the cheese and then just kind of reduce the sauce down to a nice creamy consistency. And then it's kind of done. I'm going to add the rest of that cheese. You can never have too much cheese. I'm going to add another pinch of salt, and I'm going to add the chives as well. So I'm going to go and take the thumbnail, dish this up, and we can give it a taste.
ISO Wendy's, where y'all from?
ISO.
So let's see if Mr. Lopez-alt's mac and cheese is any good. Has got a bit stodgy because it's been sitting around taking the thumbnail, etc. But obviously in the real world you'd serve it up straight away, so you'll still have that nice saucy consistency. But I'm just going to go straight in, see what it's like. Wow. Wow. That is fantastic. I'm never making mac and cheese any other way ever again. That is brilliant. I can't quite believe how simple that was to make, and yet the results are so good. If you're watching Mr. Lopez-alt, you know what you're doing, don't you? It's really cheesy, but not overpoweringly so. And he's right, because of that evaporated milk, it's all kind of emulsified into one harmonious, cheesy, creamy pan of deliciousness. And through filming this, it was done in pretty much real time. The whole thing took about 8-10 minutes to cook, if that. Obviously the only downside to it is you've got to serve it straight away. You can't leave this sitting around because it will kind of firm up, clam up and go a bit stodgy. But if you're serving this up for your family, you're going to do that anyway, so it's no problem. But in answer to the question of, does this recipe work? Is it any good? Yes, very much so, yes. So there we have it. That is J.Kenji Lopez-alt's 3-ingredient mac and cheese done on the stovetop. Absolute doddle. You've got to give this a go. If you like mac and cheese, you're going to love this. And don't forget to go to Kenji Lopez's channel, subscribe, and if you leave a comment for him, tell him I sent you. Tell him what a marvellous chap he is. But let me know in the comments what you thought. Did you like this recipe? Have you tried it before? What do you think of it? But that wraps up today's video. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it, guys. Again, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. Click the little bell icon, allow all notifications. That way, when I upload a new video, you get notified. And just remember to like it, share it on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, all that other stuff. And I'll see your gorgeous faces in the next video. And bye for now. Cheese!